Folks, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Gotta do what it says now and turn off my cell phone.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. First up are announcements. First is the ballot update. So we have about 66% back for the CC&R changes. We're still voting on that. So if you have not received that, or you've not turned it in, or you've been called a couple times because you need to sign it, please come on down and we'll get you to sign it. Or if you need a new ballot, we'll be more than happy to bring it out to you. Just as a reminder, that costs about $10,000 for the legal fees, the postage, the printing, and it'd be a real shame not to be able to open that and just throw away $10,000 for that. Next up is the election update, and since we weren't able to do the CC&R changes to get rid of district delegates, we had to send out a $3,000 mailer for district delegates. We're processing those in. We are able to tell which is which, so please vote for both. Also, an update for the election. Normally this year would be one seat would be open. Talked to KHOG and they're going to relinquish one of their seats, so we have 2 seats open. We also have 2 candidates that have filled out their application for that. Jerry Monahan is rerunning, and Joe Barletta is running for the office. But the deadline for the candidate statements is on March 8th, so if you want to run as well, please get that in. Committee chair update. Due to the holiday on President's Day, when we would normally have the committee chair, we're going to move that back 1 week to the 25th of March. 25th of March. Same time, 10 a.m. here in the ballroom. And then my monthly reminder to please slow down. It's 30 miles per hour on the circle, 25 in the streets. Please yield to cars in the circle. And it's 1 lane each way, so there's no passing going up the hill. And next up is homeowner input. As a reminder, it's limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only 1 request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. Be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. And the first speaker slip is Phil Westbrook.
Hi, I'm Phil Westbrook, reside at 124 Thistle Creek, for those of you that don't know me. Spent some time in the community, been here since 2009, originally did 2 years with facility services, some folks may not know that. Back then, we had a problem with storage, and at the time there we had the models of homes were right over here, and we put up an action to utilize the garages over there. And we saved some money doing that, and I thought that was pretty cool, but then they're gone. And now I know I saw this week, actually just yesterday, a call for storage again. I know that we're working on a storage project, but that's far out in the future. So I took it upon myself to call around for some storage options. I'm a retired administrator for the California University System. I did facilities forever and a day. My wife works for the school district, and we use Sealand containers extensively for storage. They're very versatile equipment. You can put them just about anywhere, and you can blend them into where they almost virtually disappear. I see it out here by the trash container enclosure area, 2 long parking spaces right next to each other. Perfect spot to slide a 40-footer in there. You can paint these things in to where they'll virtually disappear. It's going to give you about 380 square feet of storage. I put a call out yesterday to some vendors. I got 4 back already. Right now, the rental on that type of storage space that's conditioned, painted the way we want to paint it to, it's going to be watertight, vermin tight, is about anywhere from $99 a month to $115 a month. That's a lot of storage space. You can outright buy these things from anywhere from $2,600 to around $4,000, depending on how you need it fitted out to meet your, and then you own the thing. You can move it anywhere you want. We use them on the university for all kinds of things. It's actually cheap square footage. So what I'm going to say to you, I didn't have time to print up a bunch of stuff to hand to you guys, which I really wanted to do, but I did make a poor man's spreadsheet, which I'm going to give it to Lynn, and gives you an idea of what I'm looking at. I think it's a really good option, either to rent them or to buy them, either way you want to do it. And it's right outside, it would be literally outside that door. And then when Lewis gets done with this project and the storage that we're looking at doing, maybe it can go away, or we can utilize it someplace else, and we end up buying it, or we can just have the guys come and get it and haul it away from us. It's a pretty cheap option. I'd like you to consider it. I have the hard copies. I'll take this up and go for it if you want me to run with it. So here it is.
What are we storing? I didn't hear you.
The storage, right now, I think one of the committees is looking to store something, but I can tell you that when I was in the facilities here years ago, we're storing all kinds of stuff. And we had storage containers all out in town in different places. People are storing it in their garages and those kind of things. My time's up. I'm sorry, Nancy. Call back later. Our phones are open.
Thank you, Phil.
Take care.
The next and last speaker slip is Lynette Smilac. Lynette?
That's you.
You're up.
You can take it all the way out if you want.
All right, thank you. I'm Lynette. I live at 1536 Williamson Park. I have just 4 questions. One regarding the landscaping by the courts. As I've gone by the other areas, the courts are not looking to me very good, and was hoping to find out if there are any plans for the landscaping. Second, as you come in the gate on Highland Springs, there are lights on the roundabout. Now I heard there's a 3rd light. I've called the city. They said that there was some damage when that bridge was built. I made the management office aware of that. Again, how are we doing on the progress on that? 3rd question, which to me is extremely important. The other day, I was going out the main gate. Somebody on Shore Road and going the 45 miles an hour or more, did not stop. This is the 3rd time that has happened. So I was wondering if anybody else has raised an issue with that possibly there should be a light instead of just a stop sign. I will call the police after this last incident just the other day to see what they might suggest. And the 4th, excuse me, how are we doing on, I say that, off-leash area for the dogs? I know approximately where it's going to be, but any estimate? Or if and when that will happen? So I look forward to getting answers to those 4 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. Next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Purpose of the consent calendar is to make a single motion to approve all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. In the consent calendar are the secretary's reports from January 10th and January 14th of this year. There was no senior or investment plan. There is an approval for a lien on account BE-6310-1284-01 for an amount of $1,208. And then quite a few homeowner facility use requests. And no club approved application requests.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next on the agenda, there was an executive session this morning where the board reviewed delinquencies. There were no foreclosure actions and no hearings held. In contracts, the board renewed the Bistro contract and the website hosting contracts. The board reviewed legal issues and personnel items. And next on the agenda are the committee reports. First is the ad hoc off-leash area. Next would be the ad hoc Exhibit F committee.
The proposal for the Exhibit F is still out for resident comment, and I don't know at what point our days are at this time, Eric.
Today would have been the 27th and 28th day, so we're going to wait until the March meeting for the board to review all the comments from homeowners.
But everything is going forward at this time to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is the architectural committee. Steve.
As always, our information is posted there if you're interested in numbers. We'll say that we were really slow yesterday. We had very few applications, and we had a grand total of 5 completed projects. We're sure that's just because of the rain, but it was nice for us to have a little bit of a break. We're asking the board's approval to add a new member, Lori Reeds. She's met with us a number of times, meets the qualifications that have been established, and she has a clear understanding of our goals and our attitudes and how we function. So ask the board to approve her as a committee member.
Make a motion to approve Lori Reed as a member of the architectural committee.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the application of Laura Reeds for to be a member of the architectural review committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Next is the Breeze editorial board. Lori.
Hi, I'm Lori Larson, Chair of the Editorial Board, and we have the same 8 members that we have been so fortunate to have for at least the last year. Wonderful team, and anywhere between 6 to 8 new applicants. So we have lots of people interested in our work, which is fascinating work. We're not sure that we're getting enough pictures for the Pets on Parade column. The photographers that were taking those pictures are no longer available. One of them has moved. And so you need to send in the pictures, your own pictures of the pets. And we now have the correct address, email address for you to send them. So send in those pictures of your pets, board members too. I'm sure you have pets. And we are going to start the pictures of the spring gardens for the landscape of the month column starting in April. So I just wanted to remind you to start sprucing up your garden in the midst of the rain and the wind and the snow. You know, if I don't get these cataracts off pretty soon, I'm not going to be able to see anything. Excuse me. I think I say that every month. Yeah, watch for interviews of the board of directors candidates. There are 2, as I understand at this point, and I will be interviewing both of them and writing little interviews, which will go in the March and the April breeze and on the website. And as always, not everybody who writes for the Breeze is a member of the editorial board. If you've got some great idea that you'd like to pitch to us for a column or just for a one-time feature, come to one of our meetings and pitch it to us. We'd like to listen. And also, I see under new business that you are going to review upon putting the reuniting the communications committee and the editorial board. I want you to know that I absolutely support that. I think that's a great idea, and thank you very much. Oh, we have 2 meetings a month. One of them is on the first Wednesday of every month at 10 o'clock, and the other one is on the 10th of every month at 10 o'clock. Thanks.
Lori?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I see in the minutes here that there was a suggestion to make the Breeze available on the website before it's mailed out to the residents, and you vetoed the suggestion. The question is, were you concerned with the timing?
No, I was being territorial. However, the fact is that now we're all one committee. I was simply we're going to do it all at one time. If you do. No, there was no.
But you're not opposed to it?
I'm no longer opposed to it. We just didn't want to get spooked. That was all.
Okay.
I was acting like an.
Thank you, Lori.
Eric, I have a question. Martha Baumgart couldn't be here today, but she gave me her notes for the airline off-leash area.
Oh, yeah, we'll go back to that.
Okay,
Oh, look, come on up then. Sorry about that.
that's okay. I think she told you she wasn't going to be here. It'll be brief. It'll be very brief. I'm Vivian Walker, and I'm with Tales and Trails, and I'm filling in for Martha this morning or this afternoon. And basically, we're just moving ahead with all of our initiatives with regards to the off-leash area. And some of the things we've been working on most recently is developing the syllabus and materials for the off-leash user seminar. We'll be giving a seminar for anybody who wants to use the off-leash area. We're also busy developing documentation on rules violations to accompany the seminar. We're working on an about the facility document that includes the following issues: presence of wildlife in the area, no access during and after rain events, hazardous conditions, rapid water in the creek, no crossings, soft, unsafe surfaces in the off-leash area itself. Management will turn off quad access to the park when hazardous conditions are present. So basically, we are just really working hard on developing a seminar and documents to help people follow the rules of the park and make the park a happy and safe place both for the residents and the pets. And our goal is just to make this a really desirable activity for everybody involved.
Thank you, David. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So next will be communications, Sandra.
Yes, this will be my last time to represent Communications Committee if the board approves the combination of the Communications Committee with the editorial board. As everyone knows, it used to be one committee. It was the Communications Committee at one time when I first joined, and it was split apart due to the term limits issue. So the editorial board did not have term limits and could maintain their stability. So because the Communications Committee is so small and the term limits cause everyone to term out, we had discussed at our last meeting that we would be interested in going back to the way it was, and the Communications Committee would go back to the editorial board, and we'd all be one committee. That would save us an additional meeting every month, as well as an additional report here. And so we are hoping that that will be approved. Our committee is in favor of it, and I see that it is on the new business part of the agenda today.
Thank you, Sandra. Next is the Community Planning and Transition Committee.
My name is David Brown, and I'm covering for Colin, who's out of town. I've tried to set out to group our different types of projects that we're working on to make it easier for the board. If anybody has any questions about our different projects, please ask them. One thing that I should say is that the dog park, the gas company wanted 24-foot wide fencing, gates, excuse me. We got that, we turned that around and got it right back to them. So now at their glacial pace, we might hear something in 4 months, it could be long. That's all I have except to answer any questions. But I do want to invite people who feel like they may have a good idea to come to our meetings. We do not feel that we have a lock on all wisdom, so we're open for suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Right first. But either one.
Yes. Could you please explain to me what the library proposal is? I just had heard you were talking about shelving down the middle.
That's correct, shelving down the middle and removing the ladder and the strips for safety purposes and not using the top shelves on the sides.
What happens to the tables that are in there that are so nice to sit at?
I think the determination was made by the library committee that it wasn't being used that much, but that's not in our bailiwick. We acted upon the plans that were brought to us by the library committee, and they're architecturally done. And,
So it's a done deal then?
no, everything has to be approved by this board.
When does that come up for approval? I'm sorry?
Proposal comes,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
when the proposal is in our package,
Okay.
we will vote on it.
Well, first of all, there is no library committee. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, there's two librarians that run the library.
Yeah, no, it's not a committee, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you.
So next is the Emergency Preparedness Committee.
Eric, you still have.
Did we answer your question?
Yes, sir, go ahead. All I'm asking is, so there's no idea when this is coming up for the board to discuss? It said on there.
Which committee is supposed to provide the proposal? Is it coming from CP&T
I'm not sure.
or from? Okay. You'll have to get with Bruce on the Facilities Committee, find out when it's going to be forwarded to the Land Committee for approval and the reward.
Yes, for Bruce. Thank you very much.
Hi, Denise.
Okay. Hi, I'm Denise Featherstone. I'm on the committee that my chair is and here to be here today. As to the first one, our committee is continuing the process of preparing and distributing emergency information to our residents. If we are unable to leave the area in a disaster or other emergency, residents need to be able to shelter in place. And in order to do this successfully, people need to be prepared. And that's what we've been working on, is helping residents to be prepared if they have to shelter in place. As to the CERT questionnaire, it's important that we know how many of our residents are CERT trained. The CERT questionnaire will be available soon. We would like to have more CERT trained residents involved in emergency preparedness in Four Seasons. The Neighborhood Watch program won't be before May or June. We're still working on that. And we are looking for new members who can help us reach our goals for preparing Four Seasons residents to survive an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
I have a question. Denise, do you have any idea when they're going to have retraining for certain, the follow-up? Do we have any plans for that? Because I got trained, I got certified years ago.
They've cut back on so much, it's just like the money isn't there. And that is a question that's coming out, so I've got it on.
Okay.
I'm sure they are. Yeah, they'll have to do a lot of it. And we need them.
No, thank you.
Next is Bruce with the Facilities Committee.
Good afternoon, Bruce Lewis, Chair of the Facilities Committee. There's a proposal to replace the push bar mechanism with a corrosive resistant unit on the interior door at the summer pool that will be presented today. The replacement of the spa building gym flooring has been completed. The remaining roller shades in the lodge, craft room, and the spa building gym have also been installed. The replacement of the flooring in the craft room expansion is complete, and also the new cabinets in the existing craft room have been installed. The rooms are now currently open for the various craft groups, and the Facilities Committee meets on the second Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce. Next is Claudia with the Finance Committee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the board. I'm Claudia Rossi. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee, and I'm here on behalf of our Chairman, Barry Janetti, who could not make today's revised meeting date. What you see before you on our slide is our year-to-date financial information for December 2018. It's a total year worth of income and expenses. So we had $4.9 million of income, we had $4.878 million of expenses, we had a net income at the end of the year of $101,000. So we were positive and in the black by December 31st. We always look monthly at our delinquencies for our major form of income, which is our dues. And we're glad to say that our HOA is very, very good at following with homeowners, collecting the dues that are required to run this operation. And we only have a 0.58% delinquency rate that's above $1,000. It's really 1.2% of our total income. So thank you to our staff primarily and board members who really keep a very close watch on dues collection and accountability. Also for the calendar year 2018, we had a major adjustment where we shifted money, part of your monthly dues, from the capital reserve fund into the operations fund. We were running a deficit for the first part of the year on monthly income. And so the board graciously agreed to shift some of our dues money from the capital reserve account, which was funded at 129%, to slightly reduce that by the end of the year. And we shifted more money to the operational fund. And that is that result of $101,000 positive at the end of the year. We expected the reserve fund to be funded at about 115% by the end of the year. Effective January of 2019, you all were notified of a dues increase to $219 a month for the general operating fund, and now $37 per month will go into the capital reserve fund to fund replacement of our major expenses. We've written 2 Breeze articles. The first one was published this month in February to further explain our budgeting and capital reserve process that this HOA organization goes through. So the February article already talked about preparing our annual budgets. Next month's article will talk more in depth about what is that reserve fund, why is it required, and how is it used on an ongoing basis. This past month, we did see a resignation of one of our committee members, so we do have another opening. And I do want to invite our homeowners to please come and see what we do. We always meet the last Tuesday of each month. This month, it'll be February 26th. We meet at 1 p.m. in the RCN conference room. So please come and join us and see what goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Next is Lynette with the Landscape Committee.
Lynette Simonson, Landscape Committee Chairman. Good afternoon, board members and guests. As you can see, we are changing our annual plannings from 4 times a year to 3 times a year. More areas are going to need annuals, and our contractors are going to present color palettes to show us those kinds of plants that will be cost-effective, hopefully will not increase our budget for annual plantings at Four Seasons, and that's the reason for this change. Back to Lynette's question about the courts, Park West at our regularly scheduled walk last Friday said that they wanted to put in some fresh mulch while we are replanting those areas that are obviously in need. And then we're also going to be looking at some plant pallets for the front part of the courts area to make that look more in line with our overall beauty here. And Doris Sanfilippo has served with us and has decided to retire. But thank you to the board for the expo, because I have in my hand an application for a married couple, and it was a wonderfully done expo, I understand. I was off on family thing, and things just went well without me there. How nice. So with that, I will, unless there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Renette. Next is Barbara with the Rules and Regulations Committee.
We continue to review the clubs, groups, and class community guidelines. Cindy will be attending our Tuesday meeting where we will be discussing this issue, I hope, along with the ticket proposal, having approximately $1 for all ticket events to pay their portion for spot cleaning the carpeting after one of their ticket events. We had a concern about a tax identification for the clubs, groups, and classes collecting money, and we will be discussing this issue as well. We had 3 residents attending the January 26th fair express an interest in joining Rules and Reg, and they have completed an application form, and we look forward to their attendance on Tuesday. We meet the second Tuesday of the month at 9 o'clock, and we're always looking for new committee members. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Next is the Safety Committee.
Thank you. Any further with the Safety Committee Chair, and Scott Britton is the co-chairperson. And basically on safety, if Eric has already talked about slowing down, please do so. And so far as we're meeting, and when we talk at our meetings, we talk a lot about motoring, what's going on with people with the cars. So please keep that in mind. I know you're tired of hearing it, but until people really start slowing down, please, we'll continue to say so. Okay, we actually have a new person that we want to put forward to be on the Safety Committee, and I ask for approval for Kathy Craven, and she has been an excellent person with us with safety as well as with our other committee. So I'm asking for approval for Kathy Craven.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Kathy Craven to the Safety Committee as a member.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve appointment of Kathy Craven to the Safety Committee. All those in favor?
Thank you so very much. Also, I thought that he was going to be here, but did you see the person that came in and our homeowners, that he was wearing that reflective gear?
Phil
that vest?
Westbrook.
Phil Westbrook. We see a lot on safety, we see a lot of people walking in the evening or even early morning and it's dark. You can't really see them, so please wear some type of reflective gear, whether or not it's a vest or whether it's something on your shoes, so people can see that you're there. So that's what we have to do to help each other. We meet the first Tuesday of each month, and we welcome all to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Next is the Social Committee, which will be Cindy. So we're back to the Community Ambassador, Anita.
Notice I didn't go that far. Okay, for our community ambassador, one thing I would like all of you to know, which I'm sure you do, Barry Giannetti, who is the chairperson of the Finance Committee, is now also, he has been sworn in as the City of Beaumont treasurer. So next time you see him, please give him a hand. Okay, give him a hand now. All right. Now, we did have we're just keeping it in the family because Sharon Geiser was the city treasurer before, and she stepped down, so now we're still here with her. That's great. Four Seasons actually has helped us quite a bit. I know we did have our 10th annual Veterans Expo at the city of Beaumont, and we had some sponsorships, and one of the sponsors was Four Seasons, and I must say that I want to give big kudos to Eric Czar. He was just absolutely wonderful in helping us with all that we needed to do. So I want to present this to Eric. One last thing is we all know that we have quite a few people here that have dogs and or pets. But at our next Neighborhood Watch meeting, which is a community event as well, that will be next Wednesday the 13th. We will have Tales and Trails. That will be our featured speaker. Martha and Linda will be our featured speakers. We will also actually have Mila, who is the Beaumont Canine dog. And he's going to be here with his hammer, which is an Officer Creator, and we'll be seeing what we can do to support. This is the support for Four Seasons for the city of Beaumont. So we do this in different ways, and this is one way. So we ask you to come on out and support Mila, the city of Beaumont, and what they're doing in their officer-related activities, as well as we're supporting our Tales and Trails. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Next is the Activities Director's report. Cindy Graves.
Well, as Lynette mentioned, we did miss you. We totally missed you, Lynette, but guess what? Anybody who was there for the club and committee fair, rocking, absolutely rocking. I mean, we had over 300 people packing out this whole place, and guess who is the winner of the most people now? Travel Club has 200 members now after the committee fair. So the club and committee fair, that was huge. And I would say that the majority of folks that represented actually had interested residents coming in. So I'm stoked, you guys. Thank you so much for manning your table and representing and everything. So it was cool. In fact, it was so funny. We had John with a table. John's table was karaoke, right? He was unable to make it at the last minute, and he had a ton of interested people taking flyers. And then we had Richard Carrasco, which was absolutely hilarious. He's the fishing club. And he decided, well, I'm just going to stay for a little while, whatever. I don't feel like standing here, whatever. He put his little sign-up sheet, put a picture of a fish, and got a full page. Okay, of people interested. So, whatever. It was great, though. We had super great turnout. Thank you so much for everybody. Also, I want to thank everybody. This is really a thank you time. I want to thank everybody that came out to honor Irv Sterner for our community memorial last Friday. It was really a heart-warming thing to see so many people come, and the family was unbelievably deeply touched, not realizing, because the kids don't live here, but not realizing the big impact that Irv really had on this community. So thank you so much for caring to come. It really, really meant a lot. And then Social Committee, great news. Social Committee has released 5 more tables because the demand actually turned out to be there. So if you like to laugh, who doesn't? And you would like to get tickets, they're only $20. You can get tickets now because 5 more tables are available. So help yourself. That show is on February 23rd, and it's going to be a blast. You can bring your special beverages if you want, and there will be a coffee bar, and some refreshments. So there you go on that. And just a reminder that February is our Black History Month, and we do a big deal for our Black History celebration. There is going to be a wonderful program that will be on Saturday, February 16th, which is what, next Saturday? And they're doing something called A Taste of Soul. And their tickets are $12, and they're going to have all kinds of neat soul food. They will have singers, dancers, and all kinds of really neat celebration items for Black history. Guess what? You don't have to be black to go. So I dare you to get a ticket and check it out. They put a lot of effort into it. It's going to be a neat program. And that's it. And happy Valentine's Day. I love you guys. And yes?
It says Saturday, February 16th free, and then there's a $12.
I don't know why the free is up there. So that was evidently a small typo. So do check with Regina Thomas, who is the head. Ticket is really $12, and that includes the food. We could check. Maybe they have a portion that's free. I don't know. We'll find out. But plan on $12 because I think that's really where the good stuff is too. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Cindy. Next up is the management report from pages 52 through 66 for your review. There's no questions. We'll go on to new business. First on new business on pages 67 through 68 is, as Cindy was saying, a bench to dedicate to Herb Sterner, who recently passed away and was very involved with the tennis club and community. And so this would be to dedicate a bench with a plaque saying that the Four Seasons Tennis Club dedicates this bench to the memory of Herb Sterner for his contributions to the tennis community. At a cost not to exceed, I think, $60.
50's fine.
50. We can do 50.
I make a motion to approve the plaque for Herb Sterner at the cost of $50.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a plaque for a bench on the tennis courts to honor Herb Sterner's dedication and service to the community. I know our packet shows one on the back side, and it says, Four Seasons Tennis Club dedicates this bench to the memory of Herb Sterner for his contributions to the tennis community. I'm wondering if that's a little short-sighted, given all of the accomplishments and things that Herb did for our community. And starting the Veterans Club, and actually he was the heart and soul of it, as well as the Camera Club. I think we need to honor him for more than just what he did for the tennis club, which was considerable. So maybe it should read, this is from the association for his contributions to the association.
And to the tennis community?
Pardon?
And to the tennis, since it's going on.
Well, the tennis.
Since it's going on at tennis
Yeah.
court.
Well, that kind of makes it separate.
All right. Huh?
Any other discussion?
Herb's reach was a lot further than just tennis, I remember you. Just worded.
Well, we don't have to approve the same, we just approve the amount of money, and if we want to approve, do we want to actually put on what we want on? Is that what you're saying?
So we would
We'll
approve
just
this.
change tennis community to
Four Seasons?
Four Seasons community. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because without him, we wouldn't have had the veterans, and he's been wonderful through that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So we'll leave it up to Cindy to get the final wording. We'll just approve the amount.
Yes.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the $51 for a plaque for a bench on the tennis courts honoring Irv Sterner, and Cindy will develop the final wording to reflect all of his contribution. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 69 through 70 is a proposal to reunite the Communications Committee with the editorial board. Lori and Sandra went over that for a minute earlier. It also has their charter. I believe that there's 2 words that would be added, that they would also be in charge of the website.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation for the Breeze Editorial Board and the Communication Committee to be reformed as the Communication Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve reuniting the Communications and Breeze Board into the board itself. In doing so, Lori and Sandy, you'll have to come back with a proposal for those communications people to now be part of the new editorial board. So we have it on record that we've moved them over.
Question is that everybody who's on the Communications Committee is already part of the...
Yeah, the editorial board would not change. What you're doing is bringing in the people from the communications.
But they're the same people.
If there's no, if they're all the same people, then it doesn't matter. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 71 through 76 is a proposal from the Facilities Committee to change out the hardware on the interior center pull door to be non-corrosive. Total cost is $6,853.94, which would be a reserved expense.
I'll make the motion to approve $6,853.94 to Venda A. Beaumont Safe and Lock to install the Von Duprin push bar and related components at the Summit interior pool.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve expenditure of $6,853.94 to install a new push bar and related components in the interior pool doors at the Summit. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 77 through 78 is a proposal from the Rules and Regulations Committee to update the putting green rules. This would add the word chipping to rule number 1, so there'd be no activities such as chipping, driving, frisbee, catch, or picnics allowed. And it also changed the 3rd item on that rule to state during non-scheduled group activity time, a resident may have guests of all ages. Resident must remain with guests at all times while using the putting green. Currently, there's no underage guests allowed on the putting green. If this would go out for homeowner comment.
I'll make a motion that we send this out to homeowner comment.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve releasing the new putting green rules out for comment from the residents. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 79 through 80 is a proposal to create a techies board. Right now, there's several members of the association who are very technically advanced, such as Stan, who helped set up the mics today. Thank you again, Stan. This would create a technical board for them so that they'd be covered under insurance. They can report directly to the board of directors.
I'll make a motion to create a technical operations board and approve their charter.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the creation of a technical board for the folks who work on our sound equipment, and to approve the draft charter that they have submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, on pages 81 through 83 is their first proposal. They're already hard at work. So this is a proposal to change out the speakers for the amphitheater that are no longer working. They've been there for 9 years. This would provide 4 new speakers, some covers for them, and also new handheld mics Total cost not to exceed $2,500.
I make a motion to approve the proposal for new speakers for the amphitheater and any other equipment in this proposal, not to exceed 2,220, not to exceed 2,500. Sorry, not to exceed 2,500.
I'll second.
The move and seconded to approve the acquisition of new speakers for the amphitheater at a cost not to exceed $2,500. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on page 84 is a request from the social committee to help underwrite a storage unit or a First Street storage to be used specifically for social committee items that have been in people's garages, bathrooms, house, and to get them out of there and put them in a centralized location.
I make a motion to approve an off storage unit for the social committee. Well, the $130 a month is actually being paid for by the social committee. What we're being asked to do is, if they don't come up with enough money to subsidize whatever they don't come up with for the year, we don't know what that amount is yet.
They've prepaid for the entire year so far.
I understand it, but the proposal also says, in case they don't come up with enough money in the years to come,
To subsidize the shortfall.
the shortfall, exactly, but we don't know what that shortfall may or may not be, so the motion would be to subsidize the shortfall.
I'll second the
Okay.
motion.
Yeah. It's been moved and seconded to approve actually the rental of a storage unit to be paid for by fees charged for social events here, and any shortfall to be underwritten by the association.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Which they don't plan on having a shortfall.
Yes.
But just in case.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Let me point out one thing to everybody. The word profit up there does not belong. We're a nonprofit organization. What we'll be doing actually is charging fees for the use of the ballroom that will cover the storage of the items that we use for the social events that are in here. So that adds legitimacy to what we're doing here.
Thank you. Next on page 85 is a request from the AACC and the Taste Divine Club to have a joint party on Sunday, April 24th from 4 to 7 p.m. No charge for people to attend. This will be where they write some poetry and then read it for people. Yes, Cindy?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Go ahead.
I'm kind of curious, why does this take a vote?
Yeah, what does this do?
Why does it need to be voted on? There's no money being used by the
It's just
association.
common facility use approval.
But-
Because it's a whole community, not just a club. If it was just one club, then it's just their event, but because we're opening it up as a whole community event, we're just, as a courtesy.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the facilities for the wine club and the African American Culture Club so they can present wine and words on April 28th between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. in the ballroom.
Jolene second.
Jolene second.
Yeah, Jolene second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the request by the African American Country Club and Taste Divine Wine Club to hold an event in the ballroom on April 28th from 4 to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on page 86 from the activity director for an appreciation luncheon. Not a brunch. I think this is the first time we want to have a brunch, but an actual lunch. This is an annual event to recognize all the volunteers for their hard work for the community. Total cost is $2,746.25.
I make a motion that we approve the proposal for an appreciation luncheon in the amount of $2,746.25.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve budget of $2,746.25 for the annual appreciation luncheon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 87 through 88 is a heating repair from management. The total cost for this would not exceed $7,482. We're still waiting on one additional bid to come in. Finance approved the not to exceed, or recommended an approval to not exceed $7,482, which would be a reserve item.
Yeah, I make the motion that we approve the 7482 for the necessary HVAC repairs.
Seconded by Joey.
It's been moved and seconded to approve HVAC repairs at a cost of not to exceed $7,482. Is any of this out of the reserve account?
Yes.
Yes. So-
The entire amount would be.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on pages 89 through 90 is a request from management to purchase 22 additional rectangle tables. The kinds that you're on right now, as we move them around quite a bit, as the community has grown, we needed more for some of our large events and to leave up at the summit and at the courts. Total cost to purchase the additional 22 tables is $4,537.94.
I make a motion to purchase additional banquet tables in the amount of $4,537.94.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the acquisition of 22 rectangular tables at a cost of $4,537.94.
We have storage for these?
We have storage space for
Storage
these.
space for them?
Why, yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay. Will any of these be used in the craft room?
No, that's the next proposal.
Next one.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So on pages 91 through 93 is a proposal to purchase 20 chairs and 4 5-foot tables because the tables in the craft room are shorter. These are all 6-foot tables that we just purchased or approved to purchase, and all the tables that are here in the ballroom are 6 feet. Craft room tables are 5. So total cost for this to purchase 20 chairs and 4 5-foot tables is $4,176.62.
I make a motion that we purchase craft room tables and chairs not to exceed $4,176.62 for the craft room.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the acquisition of 4 5-foot tables and 20 chairs, matching the existing craft room furnishings as closely as possible at a cost not to exceed $4,176.62.
Good question.
Question?
Yeah, did this go through the facilities committee prior to going to finance committee?
I split the responsibilities of finding the furniture with the facilities committee. They took care of the remodel, I took care of the furnishings.
Okay.
Further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on page 94 is an item just to review and file. Regards to new California law that the board must review the financials, or 2 members of the board at the minimum must review the financials monthly. The Finance Committee does that already, but that doesn't satisfy the requirement of civil code, so the board must to review and file. Next on page 95 is a resolution, proposed resolution, again regarding the new civil code. The new civil code limits the amount of money that the association can transfer, or the management company can transfer. So we are asking that the board authorizes management to make the following transfers that may exceed either $10,000 or 5% of the association's total combined reserve and operating account deposits, whichever is lower from the association's account, for the following purposes: to fund reserves, to pay for utilities, to move funds pursuant to a board resolution for a reserve expenditure, to to implement the board's directives with regards to invested funds and bank account openings and closings, to pay for budgeted expenses for all services provided by vendors selected by the board for work the board has engaged them to carry out, and for management's compensation and cost reimbursements under its management agreement with the association, and for authorized payments or transfers directed or authorized by the board. I need a motion to accept that resolution.
I'll make a motion to accept that resolution.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve, I guess, management's recommendation that complies with the new civil code authorizing an electronic transfer of funds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is the review of the November 2018 financial statements. Unless there's any questions, we need a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the November 2018 financial statements.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the November 2018 financial statement. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is the same for the December financial statements. Again, the Finance Committee has reviewed these extensively, but the board needs to as well.
I make a motion to accept the December 2018 financial statements.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the December 2018 financial statement. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And lastly is to appoint the inspectors of election, which would be Barbara Miller, Joyce Allen, and Patricia Taylor Pendergraft. They were the inspectors last year. They are ready and waiting to open ballots and CCR changes and annual election ballots.
Make a motion to accept Barbara Miller, Joyce Allen, Patricia Pendergraft as inspectors for the election.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Barbara Miller, Joyce Allen, and Patricia Taylor Pendergraft as inspectors for the election. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next open session meeting will be here in the barn on March 14th at 1 p.m.
I want to say one thing before we, the third Monday of every month here in the ballroom, we have a committee chair meeting where the committee chairs discuss all activities that are going on in the committee. It's an interchange, it's informal, it's open to everyone. And if you have questions that you want answered during the 3-minute period up here, we rarely answer the questions, but if you come to that meeting, you can probably get answered, particularly if you have questions of more than one committee. Otherwise, if you attend the committee meetings themselves, you'll get an answer there when you speak up. So there's additional ways to get information without waiting for this very formal board meeting where we're kind of limited in how much we can answer questions. So thank you for attending.
Although I would say that this month is not the third Monday.
Yeah.
It's the 25th.
Whatever.
All right, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.